So what you're trying to say is, if you're clicking the like button, keep it at odd numbers. If you're clicking the dislike button, keep it at even numbers.
Right, exactly.
It's a good rule of thumb.
The Umbrella Academy was dark, and I don't mean the writing. I mean it was dark, very dark, poorly lit, and dark. I had to turn off all the lights in my room just to watch it.
Wow. The Umbrella Academy was academic and umbrella-ish.
The Umbrella Academy was a great soundtrack. That's also a TV show.
The Umbrella Academy was busy. So much going on.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast.
Just the first, yeah.
Yeah, the podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. By the way, we're celebrating 20 years of Fallingtower. This is the 20th anniversary. Can you believe that? Mike and I started Fallingtower when we were -3, so we're now...
This week, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of time travel...
Thank you, guys. So today we are reviewing the first episode of Umbrella Academy, and it's called We Only See Each Other at Weddings and Funerals, but they didn't actually say that line in the first episode. If you guys want us to review the first episode of a series that you like or hate, or something you just think we'd be terrible at reviewing, like you want us to watch My Little Pony, say WTF My Little Pony, that's watch the first My Little Pony. If you want us to watch,
would hate that.
If you want us to watch the first episode of Rainbow Bright, say WTF Rainbow Bright, and then we'll do that. Let's watch the first. Anyway.
WTF She-Ra.
WTF Fraggle Rock.
Hey.
Don't you dare. I don't want to
do it. Do it. Yes. Get them in their jammies and cereal. I want to see
it. Saturday morning cartoons reference sounds like. So we're joined here, of course, always the co-captain, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, comedian, musician. Actually, check out his music on his YouTube page. Pretty cool.
Ooh.
Also, Josh Sussman, actor extraordinaire from Glee and a million other things, disappearing hand trick, too.
Wow.
Hey, whoa.
Academy. That's my power.
And Bridget Fitzgerald joins us. She's a content creator. She's an actress, comedian. She's awesome, and she makes us look good.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Bringing it up. Bringing it up.
Okay, I guess I was wrong. Anyway, so all that fun stuff's out of the way. Now it's time for the serious stuff. Michael?
The Umbrella Academy revolves around a dysfunctional family of adopted sibling superheroes who reunite to solve the mystery of their father's death and the threat of an impending apocalypse. In this episode, years after they rose to fame as a young crime-fighting superheroes, the estranged Hargreaves siblings come together to mark their father's death. Ryan?
That was really good. I was just enjoying watching Josh watching you. He was captivated. I didn't know you could keep that voice that long. It's not easy.
In a world where there are umbrellas and academies to teach them.
I'm already losing it. I've been losing it from the beginning. Anyway, so let's talk about it. What we first do is we talk about what we expected versus what we got. And this is our real moment to shine, guys. So first we contrast what we expected before we watched it and what we ended up getting. I'll tell you, first of all, what I was expecting. I was expecting, oh, by the way, this was recommended to us by Eve England out in Wales. We love Eve. She's a wonderful person. She sent in some biscuits that were really good. I ate it last night, and it was delicious. I ripped it open at like midnight. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to eat this biscuit, and I ate it. But you don't have to get us biscuits in order for us to review these things. Just say WTF. She said WTF Umbrella Academy. If you do want to send us biscuits, though, we'll include the P.O. box in the description box below, and we will eat the biscuits. Anyway,
Ryan did not share. This is the first I'm hearing about the biscuits. I watched Umbrella Academy pilot with no biscuits.
Yeah, I'm really left out of this whole biscuit ring you're running. I don't understand that.
I'll let you guys know, even though I am one half of Fallingtower, I got 0 biscuits as well. But then also I am a vegan, so I don't eat biscuits with dairy. So
There you go then.
yeah. Anyway, I'm a vegetarian, but I made an exception for these chicken biscuits. They're not really chicken. It was like chocolate. It was so good, you guys. I forgot what it's called, and it's like a star shaped. It was really nice. Anyway, so point
he's
is
just rubbing it in now.
Yeah. Describe more of your biscuits while
Yeah.
we talk about Umbrella
Well,
Academy.
because the biscuits were sent for me and Sirach, if you must know.
I feel like they were sent by Eve. What was it, Eve? From
Yeah.
Wales for recommending Umbrella Academy to watch while we review the recommendation. So Sirach is not on this episode where we're watching Umbrella Academy.
That's true.
So
That should be a thing, like where they also send us goodies to nibble on while we watch the show that they suggested.
Yeah.
By
So
the way,
don't forget WTF, the show you want us to watch, and then it wouldn't hurt to grease the wheels a little bit.
with enough for everyone.
Man, I'm watching it sponsored by water. I've got water. Woo! Stay hydro, everyone.
Yes.
oh yeah, there it is. She also taught me a new word, faff, F-A-F-F. When I was taking a while to ship something, she says, it's a massive faff. I guess that's British for like a clusterfuck or anything. Anyway, so what I expected was a good show because everybody was talking about how great it was and how amazing it is and how it's kind of like a superhero thing. And, you know, I knew that much that it was like a superhero kind of situation, but that's really all I knew. I knew it was very highly recommended, and I know that Netflix kept trying to make me watch it. So I know that that means at least Netflix thinks it's good, or Netflix thinks I will enjoy it based on how much it spies on me with my phone and other devices. What about you, Michael?
I also have heard good things about the Umbrella Academy, and specifically, I did hear, as Bridget pointed out, that there was really good music in this show. That's one of the things that I had heard about.
Guys, I love the soundtrack. I'm like Spotify. And there are playlists out there, in case you're wondering, that people have made from all the music that's in this show. So.
I liked it very much too, and it made me actually look up the composer, but we'll talk about that a little later because it's a special somebody. In fact, I actually saw it at the bottom. It said who it was, and I was like, oh, that's exciting because I really like this person.
To be continued.
What did you expect, Bridget?
Well, honestly, I got to be straight with you. I have already watched and loved the Umbrella Academy, like end to end. So when you were like, watch the first, I'm like, watch the first again. I was expecting it to be good because several of my friends were like, you're going to love it. And then I was like, okay, let's see. An eccentric millionaire raises a bunch of kids that aren't his own. Well, I already loved it the first time when it was X-Men. So I'm going to love it again, you know? So that I was like, I am on board. I already love this. Yes, sold it.
What about you, Josh? What did you expect when you were watching X-Men: The Final Frontier?
Well, I was expecting like a Harry Potter Hogwarts type of thing, and I was familiar with the image that's in your background. So I thought we were going to be at like a Hogwarts type place with different magical students, and it was going to be instead of Hogwarts, it was going to be the Umbrella Academy or something like X-Men. So that's what my expectations were.
Okay.
Interesting. Poignant. Now, that's what we expected, but what did we get? I'll tell you what I got. I got, like I mentioned before, a dark show that after a while I was like, so I picked the brightest picture I could find, and it was just like a super quick thing. Dude, it was so dark all the time. Maybe it's because I was watching on my computer screen, but I put it as bright as I could. I closed the blinds. I turned off the lights. People probably thought I was watching something bad because I closed all the blinds and turned off all the lights in the middle of the day. But it actually, what it reminded me of was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen more than anything. That's the vibe I got. I mean, the storyline, the plot is like Bridget said, more like X-Men, but the feel was more like Extraordinary Gentlemen. What about you, Michael? What'd you get?
Well, I too noticed, but not really until I took all
Dark that
the.
shit is.
I didn't really notice until I took all the screenshots just how dark it was. But yeah, when I was like taking all the uploading all the screenshots to use on Zoom, then I was like, hey man, this show is pretty dark, isn't it? I guess when I was watching it though, I didn't really notice that much. But I was watching it at night with my wife last night, and so we had we had the lights on because I had to take notes about it. So. I guess I didn't really notice how dark it was then until, like I said, I uploaded all these screenshots. But I'll tell you what I got. What I got was a pretty fascinating superhero story, I thought. And made so more because of when number 5 comes back from the future, from the future.
Is that an actual toy from it?
Is that a number 5? Yeah, it looks like it is.
Yeah, he's holding coffee.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he's going through a portal.
Brilliant.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean that at the end when we find out that okay, yeah, I went to the future and there was nothing, everything was destroyed. That really grabbed my attention. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But yeah, just the fact that there were, 43 or 48 kids born on October 1st, 1989
43.
43.
To mothers that were not pregnant before. And then it turns out they have superpowers. And then this guy was able to collect 7 of them, although one of them doesn't have superpowers, or does she? We don't know yet.
My guess is yet.
Yeah, that's my guess too. I have not seen any other episodes. This is my first time I've ever seen watched the first of this first episode, and we'll see.
Bridget, well, you kind of told us a little bit, but what did you get with this first episode contrasted with what you expected?
Well, what I'm getting right now is that I don't notice when things are dark because I was just like, it looked totally normal to me. But I'm the kind of person who like turns up her iPhone screen to be lighter and my TV to be lighter. I don't know, maybe that's why, but I've never noticed that about this show. I really love action series that have that adventure feel to them. And also I like how funny and smart this show is. I feel like because I'm watching it again, there was a lot to watch out for as far as things that like seeds that grow later. Even in like the opening scene, you can see stuff that comes back later in the show. And I'm like, they did a really thoughtful job when they did this. Like they really made it all come together. So for me, I was just like, check. All the things I really wanted. Check, 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 check. And also, I guess I don't notice darkness.
Even all the characters were like backlit. I was like, not only is it dark, but I feel like they're deliberately making every character backlit. They always have their back to the window. You just see. Anyway, I'm sorry, Josh. What did you get?
I didn't get darkness either. And I don't want to seem like a bragging person, but I have a 4K television. And
drop that bomb. What?
I'm wondering if that made a difference. And because I'm maybe watching it the way it was meant to be seen. But I got Knives Out flashbacks. Because in Knives Out, it started, I mean, I guess we're not talking about Knives Out, but there was a little bit of a mystery, like, the dad died, all the siblings come back. Feels a little bit like a whodunit.
The monocle is missing.
Yes. So the clues all around. I guess I wasn't going to tell you this till later on, but just like Bridget, I also have seen the show. And I had a much better time with it this particular time because it's so busy and there's so much going on. And it definitely is the type of thing that benefits from seeing it again. And I'm going to try to only just talk about the pilot and nothing else. But yeah, there's so many, and maybe sometimes I get ADD. So just watching something twice, I really did benefit from. And it's exciting. I feel like the pilot does a great job introducing what's unique about all these different characters. It sets up mysteries for the future, like with these 40 what other kids who were born on the same day, will we find them later? Will we? I'm curious. And what? The end of the world in 8 days? Oh my, what happens?
And what luck that he happened to go into the future just in time, because if he was like 10 days later, it would have been over already. He wouldn't have been able to do it. Oh, wait. No, that's not right, because he went when he was like 13 or something.
He went missing 16 years ago.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know anything. So right off the bat, here's the question I really want to know, and I think Mike already has given us a couple hints here. Because we have 2 people that have watched this and 2 people that have not. So it might be interesting to hear the differences in the answer. But what's your favorite character in this first episode? I mean, if they're not a character that's introduced in episode 4, for example, somebody that was within their world.
Right.
Michael, do you have a favorite character besides the chimpanzee that's talks?
Yeah, the Pogo was pretty awesome. I like the Pogo. But my favorite character has got to be number 5. And especially in this scene in the donut shop, highlighted by one of my favorite bands, They Might Be Giants.
We knew that was coming.
Song, Istanbul is Constantinople. This, by the way, I'm in a couple They Might Be Giants groups on Facebook, and this the fact that this song was featured in this scene was all over those groups at that time.
Oh, so you already knew that.
I already knew that song was in here, but yeah, I mean, once again, to Bridget's point, it's like there was like a picture book by the Kinks. There was a Phantom of the Opera. There's so many good songs, and there's just this first episode even too. In the beginning when they're playing the Kinks, I love the Kinks, by the way, one of my favorite bands, and I just got so excited to hear the Kinks play. But yeah, back to my favorite character, it's 5 here, and the funny thing is his name is number 5. I guess it seems like originally, from what I can gather, that the father did not give them names. He just named them like, oh, this is number 5. It's like number 5, and under his name is number 5. Like the other ones, it's like Vanya, Luther, Diego, Allison, Klaus, Ben.
Right.
But this guy is like the only one. He doesn't have a real name. He's just number 5. But he's pretty badass, I gotta say. He can jump around through space, but also it seems he can jump through time. So he can jump around through space and time. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was written by House of Pain.
Jump around. That's Ryan's joke that he wanted everybody to get, but I had to spell it out for you guys.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I think, and maybe I'm guessing wrong here, but it sounds like maybe Mom, who is clearly she was an android, and they showed us, but just because she didn't seem to age, but it seems like maybe she named them after number 5 left, because that's why he never got a name. Maybe, I don't know. That's just a guess.
Or they picked their own names, which is something that
they said Mom gave us names or something like that. That's what they said. Anyway,
Mom droid.
Bridget, who's your favorite character?
I'm going to jump on this 5 train because I feel like, there's a lot of great powers here, but again, as an X-Men fan, I'm like, he's like Nightcrawler, but he can go through time too. And I was like, that's cool. I honestly, just the idea that you could zap yourself to wherever, like when he's making his sandwich and he like jumps to get the peanut butter and then jumps right back. And it freaks out the other guy who's just a giant man and you don't know what his deal is really yet. I was like, this is the coolest power. And I mean, there are plenty of other powers that you'll see in this show. But for me, I feel like because 5 says a lot of like one-liners and then like just tags in with that. Like, I really love him. I think that he's just a sassy little kid right now. But I mean, you'll find out later all his deal.
Or will we?
Yeah.
Watch this episode till the end to find out.
To find out if we will watch that second episode. Josh, do you have a favorite character? And if so, is it Spock?
I'm same as everyone else so far. 5 is fascinating. I think 5 is the most interesting. We have a 58-year-old man living he's in a 13-year-old boy's body, and that's just, and the actor I think is so good because he sells it. Because while watching, I wonder how many kids they auditioned, because sometimes there could be a 13, because he is that age, the actor, but you buy it and you accept him as this man who lived through so much, who lived in an apocalyptic future and came back here. And I think it's so much just the actor that he really sells it. I also think Klaus is really fun, and he provides some nice comic relief. Pogo's cool. I like Allison. Vanya. I mean, I'm curious. I haven't seen Ellen Page in forever.
Yeah. What about Diego and Luther and Mom?
I was just listing my favorites.
And Father, yeah.
And they're interesting. They're a little. I'm not as entertained about them. But yeah, no. 5 is just he's cool. I mean, I brought him with me.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is proof that I wasn't just copying Bridget and Michael. I don't know what to say. I'll say what they said. No, this is proof that I'm not a copycat. But now what I'm curious about, all 3 of us said 5. Who is Ryan gonna say? Will it be 4 5s in a row?
I gotta be honest. None of them really jumped out at me at all. So when I was in a panic just now, when I asked the question, I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to say someone. I was thinking about maybe saying 5, just because that one would seem. But now that you all said it, I feel like I can't say 5. So
say what's in your heart. What's in your
heart? In my heart, it's none of them. I mean, there's none of them jumped out. None of them jumped out as any. There were a couple that were a little boring, but most of them were pretty. So I'm going to say the dad. The dad, because he's kind of the mystery meat. You know, he's kind of like what's his story now that if we're going to get to talk to him, you know, now that he's in the grave or dead or whatever. Actually, he's a pilot. Whatever, Ash with a cigarette in him. Like, you know, is he going to have a secret story? Maybe he found others. I don't know. Maybe my favorite is a character they haven't found yet. I'm mostly curious as to the other 36 that haven't been found yet, and why they haven't been found, what their secret powers are, what their stories are. I'm assuming that's something that we're going to have explained somewhere down the line. They're going to meet another one, or, you know, I don't know.
I think Allison has some cool powers. Is she number 3 or something, right?
Yeah.
Allison. She can pretty much wish for stuff and it comes true, right? She tells a rumor and it comes true. Like, how powerful is that?
She's so manipulative.
But she doesn't do that anymore.
Well, I guess from what I could gather, she told a rumor that came true and now she can't get out of it. So she probably wished to be famous or like a movie star or model or whatever she is.
Oh, right. That's a good guess.
Now she can't get out of that. And maybe that's one reason why her powers don't work anymore. Just guessing. I haven't seen this, obviously, but that's just what I gathered.
That's a really good guess.
Also, Klaus, he can talk to dead people. We know that. And so he's trying to talk to his dad, but then also he's stuck with Ben maybe for his whole life.
That was cool. I like that part.
And so that kind of explains why he's a junkie. At first, I was kind of like, all right, guy, come on. This is a little bit too much. But then they showed Ben in the car with him, and then he disappeared and came back, and then it says, Ben, number 6, deceased. I was like, all right, okay. So that makes a little bit more sense that he's like a whacked-out junkhead. That's what kids say these days, right? Now, junkhead.
Whacked out too.
Whacked out junkhead.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I know all the lingos.
You're so cool. You're hip.
Yeah. Did you guys think that their dissemination of information was well done? Like, like it was very methodical, and it made you like practically beg to find out, you know, like when you see, you're like, okay, there's 7 of them. And then you're like, oh no, you know, one of them disappeared. But then you see a picture, and then the picture has 5 of them. And you're like, well, how could there be 5 of them if one of them disappeared? And then that 5 went to 4. And then you're like, oh wait, and it turns out one of them died. And you're like, but that's still 5. Like, just tell me, stop fucking with me, man. Like, they were just, like, I like something that just says, there were 7 of them, 1 died, 1 disappeared, and go. But instead, they make you, like, try to, like, figure it out. And
Would you have liked if a narrator told us all that and spelled
yes.
I think that's bad storytelling, though. I think the way that they did it created some mystery. They introduced the characters 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. What happened to 5 and 6?
And that's
then they show all these portraits, and like there's this portrait, and there's 6 of them. So what happened to the 7th one? And then there's now there's only 5 of them. So what happened to the other one? And now there's only 4. So and obviously we learn later on that the picture is probably just the ones with the superpowers, the ones that he cared about, kind of messed up.
Exactly.
But then it created some mystery, and then they didn't tell us until the very end. I mean, we kind of learned, I guess. There was the statue of Ben too, so we found out that he had died at some point. But then we don't meet him until the very end. So I thought it was good because I thought that there was some mystery to it, and I thought that the way they unraveled it, very smart.
I liked how it was unraveled with, like, Luther's on the moon and he gets an alert. We don't know what it is, and then Allison's on the red carpet, and the photographers are whispering, and then they kind of reveal, and we don't know what it is yet, and just finding out and seeing them all find out about their dad was kind of interesting, and just seeing them come back together and only seeing some of them at a time and not knowing. I liked how I thought it was revealed nicely, but again, you do benefit from watching it more than once, which so in a good pilot, I didn't really have a great time the first time I looked at this. So I don't know if that's good storytelling where it's something, oh no, you have to look at it all, or something should be able to stand on its own, and maybe a first time the narrator could be helpful, but it's kind of then, I think, deeper, richer storytelling to not have that, and have clues, because there is something nice about watching something again, and if it's all spelled out for you, it takes away from that. And I think in all entertainment, it's great to want to watch them again and again and notice and discover new things.
What about you, Bridget? Do you want something that's just like super stupid, like what I want, that's just like, hey, dummy, there's 7 of them. 1's dead, 1 disappeared. Okay, pay attention the rest of the way, or do you like it better this way?
That's like a 15-minute episode, not a 1-hour episode. You just want like a flow chart. Like, I'm not sure that you want a pilot. I'm like, maybe someone has already done this, like, just to like write it out for you. And if you need me to send a spreadsheet, sure, I'll hop into Excel and let you know who's going where and whatever.
Somebody make the Sparks notes version for Ryan.
Guys, he needs a hand to hold through this whole process. And I understand that because there's a lot. Like 7 is a lot. Like imagine if like they didn't divide up the Brady Bunch into 2 halves. Like that's a lot of people to meet in like one pilot, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they've got a lot of ground to cover. Not only the fact that they're superheroes, the fact that they are not, they don't really act as a unit anymore. The fact that the world is ending, which comes out later, that 5 is gone. Like there's so many things that they set up, let alone like this freaky haunted mansion, Scooby-Doo-esque thing that they live in or whatever, like a big old mansion. Their mom is a robot. Like there's so many things to do, like to set up that I was just like, I like that it's coming out like a layer at a time here and there. And then again, because I like Josh, I got to see this for the second time rather than the first time. It's like, it encourages you to go back and rewatch it in a way, because I feel like I'm catching stuff that I didn't recognize before.
Watch the first, the second.
Watch the
Part
first
two.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
There was one fulfilling moment for my slow brain was when, like, actually, Bridget, you've got the image there, was when I paused it and I was like, okay, There's 5 of them, and so
6.
far but in the picture, I was like, and so far we know for sure there are 2 women. Oh yeah, okay, then there it is.
Sorry, I'm in the Umbrella Academy.
That's
now,
what it was,
so.
right? So
Yeah,
I was like, we know for sure there are
Yeah.
2 women. I said, okay, that's clearly one of the women, and I was like, which one of these faces is the other woman? So I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, that's a boy. That like, no, there's another girl. Which one? I'm like, okay, definitely not that blonde guy. But then eventually we find out, oh, she's not in the picture because she's not special yet.
Honestly, that whole relationship is hard to set up. Like being like, okay, you know, that this one number 7 was kind of ostracized by the group. And it's set up in like this heartbreaking way where she's like tattooing herself, like with a Sharpie, like she's like hanging out by herself. Like it's just like hanging out by her dad's side and being specifically told by the dad, no, you can't go in there because you're ordinary. Not like you don't have powers. He phrases it, you're ordinary, which is awful. Like from
You're basic.
You're basic, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question for Josh and Bridget, because I was curious about this, and I'm okay with this one spoiler if this does get explained later.
I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna.
I was thinking, is it just a coincidence or is it deliberate that they are numbered kind of in order of like a hierarchy almost as if the dad was like, okay, he's the biggest and the strongest and the bravest or whatever. He's number 1. Okay, this guy's the second best fighter. He's kind of going to be second in charge. He's number 2. Okay, this girl's really talented and smart. She's number 3. And all the way down, all the way until like, you know, number 6, who's a weakling kind of, you know, and like a wimp. And number 7 has no powers. So it almost seemed like he created a hierarchy that he knew when they were babies and numbered them that way. Did they explain anything?
The first thing I'll say before they answer that is that 6 is not a weakling. He turns into he kind of turns. I remember he like turns into like some kind of like octopus.
Right.
Sea
Well, his
monster,
personality
and, like,
is a wimp, you know, and then he's like shy and he's scared. He's like, I'm just saying like kind of like that personality, you know. But yeah, he turns into a tentacle monster.
Right.
Well, I didn't finish season 2 yet, but unless I missed, I don't think they addressed that. They
never address why they're in that order, but it definitely is a point of contention to the 2 boys because they always fight and butt heads 1 and 2. So I feel like they're not numbered in any particular order, but because they have been given this number, they establish that as their identity. And in a way, like number 1 is like, okay, I'm in charge. I feel like he kind of made himself in charge, but they never clarify what the order is.
Seems that way.
I just want to say, there's also so much going on, and you're trying so hard to follow the plot and follow all the introductions of these characters, so it's sometimes easy to miss, but visually, it's so cool. Like, I just want to bring up, there was that shot where they were all dancing, and they kind of zoomed out, and you could kind of see them all, and it had to have been visual effects, because I think that would be impossible to film.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they were you could all see them on the different floors of the house?
The dollhouse.
That's what I call it, the dollhouse, yeah.
Yeah, so just visually, there's so much stuff that's really cool. That like the budget or just to set stuff like that up has to. I mean, that's a huge part of the show too. Just visually looking at it, it's a visual feast.
Right.
Not on Ryan's watching it on his computer.
Ryan's like, okay, I'll watch the next episode on my phone. I'm like, Ryan, why?
Well, we'll have to see. Stay tuned to the end of this podcast to find out if we're actually going to watch the second episode or if we're going to be like, nah, I wouldn't.
I'm excited for that part.
Here's a very obvious question that I think Mike and I have been dying to ask, which is, who has, based on this first episode, who has the coolest abilities? I say abilities instead of powers because number 7 doesn't have any powers, but she does have a cool violin ability, you know? Mm-hmm. And the ability to be ordinary and trustworthy-ish. So, Michael, do you have who had the coolest powers or abilities?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that Allison, number 3, had she to me seems like the Phoenix. She seems like she's probably the most powerful, if not the leader, but she's the most powerful.
Yeah, no, Allison's powers, I think, so when you watch a show like this, you kind of imagine, ooh, which one would I want? Or I sometimes will just fantasize about being a superhero, or I think since I was little, like whether it's about flying or being able to just whatever. But yeah, when I see that would be so cool to get whatever you want.
I'm scared to ask what you would do with it, with
Oh,
that
I would
power.
do good. Ryan, I'm a joyologist. I will not use my powers for evil. I will make the world a better place, and I'll be able to buy myself really nice things too. And
Okay, fine. You can have the power
unlike
then.
you keeping your biscuits to yourself, I would get it to everyone.
If you had one superpower, what would it be, Josh, since you've given this some thought?
I think I would, of the characters, like which of them? Or just in general?
Anything. Invent it.
Oh.
Like you could make spoiled milk be unspoiled.
I was gonna say it would be nice to be able to never have to just poop again, because it's so, think how much time you have to spend digesting and doing that and getting rid of, but not get fat and be able to be lean. And,
yeah. You wouldn't have to wipe either then.
I know, it's so annoying. Have to deal with that. Like all the time we could save, and then like I don't know, like when I was younger, when I first was wiping, you mess up. It's like, it's traumatic. Like
you also wouldn't have to go poop. Like that feeling of needing to go would never happen too. That's a really good one.
Spoiler alert, you're going to get this power when you're 80 with a catheter. It's a possibility, my friend. Your dreams might come true.
Careful what I wish for. Not like Allison, who doesn't use it anymore. I should... did I ruin my wish? Like, is that...
Too late. No take backsies. No take backsies.
All right. How about you?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say I'm very pleased with how this conversation went.
So far, yeah.
But sorry, Bridget, do you have who had the coolest powers?
Honestly, I feel like number 5 has the coolest powers. But, I mean, I already... Like, getting to go anywhere you want, time and space, like, yeah, I would be Doctor Who. Like, sure, I would do that. No problem.
Yeah, but what's scary about it looks like he had trouble getting back. The fact that he didn't come back till all these years later. I would want those powers, but I wouldn't want to go somewhere and get stuck. Like, that would not work out. That could be stressful. I don't want to, but that would be great to, go buy some lottery tickets, buy some stock in Apple and Tesla and Amazon.com.
I just think it would be fun. Like, he uses it to go forward, but could you imagine if you had gone backward, or if you had gone to a couple days ago? You could pull pranks on your 6 other siblings. Like, but the options are endless here with what you can do.
I got to ask a question before I answer it myself, because I just thought of something. Do you know if the people that Allison does her powers of suggestion to, are they aware that she said, I heard a rumor kind of thing? Do they know? Because if I were to say, I had a rumor, you gave me $100, right? And they give it to me. And then afterwards they're like, hey, I just gave you $100 because you made me use your power, But if they don't even know you said it, then they think they just gave it to you and it's just gone from their memory. Do we know, are they aware of this?
They seem to be in a little trance when she uses her powers, but the people around her can observe her using her powers.
But they don't know, so that's pretty good.
The people themselves don't know, but the other people, she's been busted a couple times in future episodes using her powers.
Okay, so that's...
So, Ryan, if you did that to get $100 from Michael wouldn't know, but I could be watching from afar and, Ryan was real unethical getting Michael to give him that $100.
And I'd be like, I heard a rumor that you told nobody.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard a rumor that you were going to share some biscuits.
That's just a rumor. Ryan does not.
Clearly, I don't have that power. Oh, well.
Yeah.
A boy can dream.
Okay, well, that's a better power than what I thought. But it doesn't make my top 2 then. I think the the number one probably is that if you can transport anywhere, then dude, I mean, I'd want, like, I'm going to go to lunch in Turkey, or I'm going to go visit Amsterdam for the afternoon. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really cool power to have if you're number 5, you know, or you can go in the past, or you can go in the future. I mean, that's incredible.
Even New York was once New Amsterdam.
But here's the thing, though, I'll also say about that is if you have a wish power, you can wish for that ability as well.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's, you can wish things from people, right? You can, or I don't know, maybe you're right.
Or maybe it's when she wished something for herself that she got stuck. Who knows? I don't know.
But the very close second is being able to talk to dead people, because then you're like, hey, I can talk to Albert Einstein. I could talk to, you know, Jesus or Moses or Gandhi or,
Shakespeare.
Buddha, I was going to say, but Shakespeare, like, that's really a very cool power. You can talk to people, and then everybody that's saying, oh, well, Moses wouldn't have said this, be like, oh yeah, I talked to him. He wasn't, you know, but the reason that's not as good as the other one is because the other one, you can actually go in the past and just have the same exact conversation with these dead people, but while they're alive. So that's why that one wins to me.
I want superpowers. Sometimes I get sad when I watch and I fantasize and I realize it's not going to happen. But I daydream so much about this stuff, and I wish I forget that I won't be able to do that. But
do you think that maybe you still might, though? Like, maybe, right?
Well, I have so many time travel fantasies, and you know, if I were able to time travel, I would kind of want to do it X-Men Days of Future Past style. So that's where you could go back into your younger body. So you're not just like a random time traveler, you're in your younger self. And that's kind of interesting.
Hey, it's like I always say, anything is possible in a world.
In a world.
Yeah.
Are you guys able to give us the answer to what Mike and I were wondering about the wishing power? Can you only wish for other people to do things, or can you say, I wish that I had $1 million, or I heard, you know?
Well, go for it.
Oh, it appears that it has dealt with people. It's about manipulating people, though I guess supposedly you could go to the bank. I heard a rumor you gifted me $1 million, so you could still do it that way, but it seems to be with people and manipulating people.
So then you can't wish to be famous, but you can hear a rumor that this big time agent was going to sign you, for example, and make yourself.
Yeah.
Or you could say, I heard a rumor you were going to cast me in this huge franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But you can't rumor extra powers to other people, which was, I think, what Michael was asking about first. Like, you can't rumor new powers or whatever. It's all about manipulating.
So many rules to manipulation. Yeah. It's exhausting.
Oh, that's one thing. Whenever you create a world with magic in it, that you have to set some ground rules.
I guess this was a comic book, I guess, by My Chemical Romance, or the leader of that wrote this.
Really?
Right? But so I don't know too much about it. Like, when did I was going to ask if you knew when the comic came out, if it's this century, if it's from the 90s.
I bet I could find out.
Ooh.
Oh, because you got the google.com. Am I allowed to say other websites?
Yeah. We'll just beep it out.
Okay.
And Michael dub in it with like Fallingtower.
So cool.
Fallingtower.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You know, I'm going to hit a couple fact checks on this thing, by the way, guys. There were a couple things that made me feel a little disappointed. What was it? Okay. At the very beginning, when 43 women suddenly gave birth, I put in all capital letters. I said, fact check, not fucking possible. Okay, let's be honest here. A woman cannot go through 9 months of gestation or whatever, and because the baby wouldn't be able to get that much nutrients from the woman's body in order for it to grow into this 7-pound thing in a matter of seconds, like the reason it takes 9 months is not just because the cells need to form all that, but like the mother needs to eat the food and go through the body, and then that needs to turn into nutrients for the baby. Like, dude, come on, guys. What do you think?
The fact that they have superpowers isn't what you don't believe.
No,
the fact that
for him.
these babies can gestate 9 months in a single minute.
Well, because if in this world superpowers exist, but they don't say in this world women have babies in an instant, you know. So
well, they do say that because that's exactly what happened.
Also,
that was
I have
very
to
disappointing.
say, the way they did that when there's teenagers at a pool and they have their first kiss and all of a sudden one of them's pregnant. I'm like, this is how kids think babies
Yes,
happen.
I thought that's what something was going to happen there, where they'd be like, "Oh my God, this guy's superpower is that he just he's like Rogue, you know." But he like kisses people and they just burst.
By the way, I looked it up. This comic series was between September 14th, 2007, and February 20th, 2008.
Oh, short.
Well, I mean, yeah, it seems like it was just this series. This short
I wonder how
series
true to the comic the show is. But no, I think there's certain rules in shows and movies we accept. Like, we don't think there's no way someone could be born on the planet Krypton and then have powers from the Earth's sun. We just accept it. And I think in today's advanced times, we still just accept that Clark Kent puts glasses on and no one knows he's Superman.
Yeah.
No, when you watch, I think certain things you just have to accept. Otherwise, you won't be able to enjoy it. And it's just like, all right, people don't.
That's why Ryan can't enjoy anything ever, because he has no suspension of disbelief.
Okay.
All right.
Here was my other qualm with it, guys.
How can there be a species called Vulcans that get together with the humans to create the Federation?
This was
That's
even more
illogical.
This was an even more powerful qualm, because it's not like, oh, well, that's just how things happen in that world. But maybe this gets explained. This one I have faith that it might get explained, or I'm going to be very disappointed in the writing team. Okay, if you went to the future and presumably got stuck there or whatever it is for 45 years and there are no humans there, do you know how poor your English and communication would be when you got back? If you didn't speak to any living human for 45 years and then you reappeared, you wouldn't even know how to speak English. You wouldn't even know how to act. You wouldn't have any
Josh
concept.
is raising his hand. Josh, I like how you raised your hand.
So, but maybe they address this.
Well, I just want to ask a question. In the movie Castaway, Tom Hanks befriends Wilson, the volleyball, and talks to him. So let's say if it was like that in Castaway, Tom Hanks was there for only 4 years on the island. Mm-hmm. Castaway spoilers, sorry.
What?
But would that count if you are talking to a volleyball and you befriend the volleyball? Would that count as English practice?
Well, I was also going to say that, yeah, he could be talking to himself, but then also he did find a library. Even in this first episode, we found out that he found a library and read his sister's autobiography.
And also he mentions Dolores. So he's been talking to somebody, whoever Dolores is, and we learn about that later.
Checkmate.
Yeah,
I just like that you drink. You're like, we learn about that later. Like it was like a victory sip.
And we learn about that later.
Yeah, it was like a mic drop, but not.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
I feel fine.
And just because, like, when the world ends or whatever, and, you know, the world ends for the dinosaurs, but there's life after the dinosaurs. Like, if there was the one last dinosaur, he'd meet all the humans, you know? So who knows? Just because the world ended, there could be...
Your thoughts on that, Bridget?
I don't want to do any spoilers for people who are definitely watching this later, such as you or Michael. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that he's probably been talking to someone, but who knows?
That was my assumption. I'm like, they've got to, there's going to be something, whether it's a robot or a person, or he goes back and forth in time or something.
I love that it wasn't even Pogo. The fact that there's a monkey talking, a chimp in a nice button down with the suit, wearing little chimp glasses, never addressed, never explained in this episode. That wasn't the thing that
Well,
you
I just assumed that an eccentric billionaire or whatever was like, okay, I can build an android. I can make a monkey that can talk. I'm like, okay, I mean, gorillas can already do sign language. Monkeys can understand. I was like, that I can believe as within the realm of possibility, not necessarily in our world, but that one I could pass. But I'm just talking about actual human nature, like the way the humans work.
Because there's probably some people watching right here that have some qualms. A chimpanzee is actually an ape, not a monkey. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm more sorry.
Reading about one of the first chimpanzees or gorillas, he was being taught sign language. And the first thing he did that he spoke in sign language to his teacher was he asked her to take her shirt off.
Are you sure that wasn't a pig? Sounds more like...
No, so it was a pervert. He was, I don't know if count as a Me Too for her, the chimpanzee, but that's a true story. This is a true story.
Yeah, take off your shirt. And she's like, we should...
Oh,
wait, wasn't that Coco? Wasn't Coco a female?
Oh, maybe it was Coco. I don't know all the details. But.
Yeah, females can be interested in other females, Ryan. I don't know if you knew about this.
Well,
in
it's
the
just because
century.
our first thought was like typical man pervy, but then we're like, well, wait a minute. If it was a woman, then maybe she just wanted to like compare and contrast. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do that all the time with my girlfriend. Just be like, hey, so them nips, what's going on there? Something we do. That's why we go to the bathroom in pairs.
Ryan and I do that
you were
to
right,
each other.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know. That's...
Now you know, Josh, that's what it is. We're looking at each other's nips.
Yeah.
He's always wondered that, haven't you, Josh?
There you go.
I've told you that, Ryan. I remember the day we met. It was on Ventura Boulevard at this restaurant. And
Jerry's Deli
I wasn't
in Studio City.
But yeah, at Jerry's Deli, there were a couple of girls who went to the bathroom together. And now I'm wondering if this is what was happening.
I was going to say that Ryan and I do that all the time with each other. So
We do. Yeah, we compare.
I feel less special.
I feel like you guys need to take another trip to this deli and then obviously go to the bathroom in pairs. There you go.
All I remember is that Josh said he liked Star Trek, and that's how we became friends.
That's how you make
That's all
all
it took.
good friends. That's it.
That's all it took was mentioning Star Trek, and I was all about it. Last thing I wanted to bring up before we get into the real nitty-gritty of things is you guys mentioned the soundtrack, but I want to talk about the composing. Jeff Russo is the composer, and I recognize his name because he's done so many big things, including Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery. And I like his Discovery music, the theme song, really good, really pretty, like it a lot. I like Picard even better. It's amazing. He's done a lot of great stuff, so I just wanted to mention he's also currently doing Lucifer, which you may know. There's a bunch of other things he's done. Cursed,
WTF, Lucifer.
Altered Carbon, Power, Star Trek Short Treks. For All Mankind, that's good. Snowfall, Legion. Anyway, the Santa Clarita Diet.
IMDb page? Were you reading his IMDb?
Yeah, just now, yeah.
Okay.
All I knew him from was from Star Trek, and what was the other thing that I knew him from? Anyway,
WTF all those shows.
Altered Carbon. I heard that one's boring. Don't know WTF that one.
So WTF it then, just to torture Ryan, since he tortured us with his biscuit story.
What WTF? Great British Bake Off?
Is that a real thing?
Yes, it's really good. And they're very polite. They're very cute.
Because the Brits are known for their food.
Well, the Bake Off, though, that's
pastries,
really cute. Yeah, they're yummy.
Sounds good, actually. All right, WTF, Great British Cook-Off. Is that what it was? Bake-Off?
Very close, yes.
You almost did it.
WTF, Camp Cretaceous. It's the new Jurassic Park show on Netflix.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wait, not Crustaceous?
Crustaceous, I think. Camp Crustaceous.
Like the period, right? Okay.
It's like a prequel to Jurassic World.
Right, that was the period before
Nice.
Jurassic.
Oh.
Period. Anyway, Bridget, can you save us and talk about yourself for a little while to
Sure.
cleanse our palate?
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about me. Hey, everybody.
So you are an actress, you're a content creator, and especially you're doing something new that you told me about a little bit, but I have to be honest, I didn't really fully understand it, but it sounds like really, really interesting and cool and like the new wave of the future, called Stereo. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm a content creator for an app called Stereo. It's on the Apple App Store. It's in the Google Play Store. So if you have a phone, you can use it. Basically what it is a way for people to talk to each other. So it's kind of like, I've been told it's like a chat roulette, which I don't really know, but it's kind of like you get paired with someone you don't know, and then you can talk about whatever you want. Or you can call someone directly and then chat together and then turn it into a live chat. So you could do kind of like live podcasting. But then people can leave you voice messages so they can like kind of join that conversation, which is really fun. I'm on there as Smiley Bridge, and I love talking to people there because I love talking to people in real life. And honestly, like right now, it's a really cool app to be on because who's leaving their house to meet new friends? No one. So it's like you get to meet new people from all over the country who are using this app, and then I don't know, like just make new friends.
All around the world too, or just the country?
Just in the US right now. It just launched, I would say like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's brand new. So it's really fun. And you get to make a little like a little mini me of you, a little person whose mouth moves when your mouth moves on the app. So it's kind of fun. It looks like you're talking to someone, and I love puppets. So
is it just on your phone, or is it on your computer, or what? Like,
yeah,
It's like a little Bitmoji type guy, right?
Exactly.
and you just talk to random strangers that happen. It just connects you with like a roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's a roll of the dice. You get connected with someone, and if you don't like who you're talking to, you can always switch, like flip, like a swipe
so
will
rude.
go to the next person.
Later, loser.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. So, I don't know.
So-
And they also have like little pop-ups if you're scared about what you could talk about. There's like little subjects you could pick, like food fight, where you could say, okay, what's better, Oreos or Keebler Elf cookies or whatever. Like it has
Oreos.
What kind of Oreos? There's lots of different ones.
I'm scared for the future of like young kids not knowing how to communicate. So I think that this is really great because it forces them to communicate and talk to others. And just like Ryan mentioned, with 5 not being able to talk, kids are having no social interaction. So this is great.
There is there's an age limit because it's intended for adults. So you have to be 18 or older in order to use this app.
Right. I was also thinking like people that are just socially awkward or are shy or have a lot of difficulties meeting people or something like that. It would be great for them. But then it could be even harder for them if they go, hey, how's it going? Oh, whoops. Okay, she swiped right. Okay. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, you like sport? Oh, okay. He swiped right. Okay. And
Well, you can't actually see the person's picture, right? You just see their Bitmoji.
No,
so.
you just see their Bitmoji, and they can make it look like whatever, So it's just, honestly, I haven't had that many experiences where people are like, goodbye. It's mostly just people who are genuinely interested in wanting to talk. So
how long do you talk to them on average?
Well, as a creator, I'm usually on there for at least an hour every time I go on. But for other people, they could be on for like 20 minutes. They could be on for several hours. I've seen people like go live. Like there's some people who do kind of like an American Idol type show. So people come on and leave a voice message of them singing, and they'll go for like, a night where they just host and do that. So,
So
really
you
Anyone found love on this app yet? Have any romances blossomed?
honestly, I feel like you could, because you could, again, like call one-on-one without ever giving out your phone number for someone that you follow back. you have to follow back. And you can also block people. So if you don't want to be called, that's also a thing.
Okay.
So, and I know this is just we're all just trying to learn about the stereo thing, but it's fascinating. So with reference to you, you're gaining followers by doing this, I would assume, right? And then when you're talking to somebody, can all of your followers listen in on the conversation, and then it becomes more of a published podcast kind of thing?
Absolutely. When you are going live, it lets your followers know in case they want to tune in and check out what you're talking about this time. You can also disable that if you don't like any extra notifications or banners or whatnot. But yeah, it's a chance to like meet people. Like honestly, on this app, I ended up meeting someone who also is very into the show Big Brother. My friend Tommy Natoli now. So now we host like a Big Brother Gab Fest every time after the show airs. So like at 9 o'clock after the show airs on the West Coast, we're talking about it. And so it's really fun. I don't know.
So do these conversations get recorded anywhere or something like that? Or can you like post them to like YouTube or something like that? Or
yeah, you could post them to whatever. They do get saved in the app. You can delete them if you don't want to save that, but they just get stored and you can like tab over and see all your histories of chats. And you can save a video version of it, of the two little heads talking to each other, or you can save an audio file. If you want to do like a podcast, like and export it to whatever platform, you could do it that way too.
nice.
Yeah.
So confused.
Why are you confused?
Look, I will make you a flow chart. I don't understand why everything befuddles you, but I am here for you, Ryan.
I like numbers.
I will not lose you. No Ryan left behind.
So basically what you're saying is you could have random people following you, you follow them back, and then you just talk to them. Or you can deliberately say, for example, I know I was talking about going on your show, we were talking about doing a thing. Yeah. Then I would have to start an account, follow you, you follow me back, and then it's not like a random thing. It's like you and I are having a planned conversation, and then all of your followers and my followers listen to our conversation. Yeah,
they can, or whoever happens to want to listen to can swipe in. Like you don't have to talk only on this app. If you just want to hear people chatting, if you're just like a big podcast lover, you can just hit it in listen only mode and just swipe and see what you want to listen to, what people are talking about. So, I mean, works both ways. If you want to talk, you can. If you want to listen, you can.
Well, I love it. And you are Smiley Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to
Smiley
find,
Bridge.
easy to remember. Also, your YouTube channel is also Smiley Bridge, right? Content creator.
Yep. My channel is youtube.com/SmileyBridge. On Twitter, I'm Smiley Bridge. So on this app, of course, I picked Smiley Bridge.
What kind of awesome things do you do on YouTube? If I were to go to your YouTube channel right now, what would I see?
Ooh, Josh, you would see so many things. I have several web series that I made that I'm in. So Smiley Bridge TV, it had like a 250,000 views on VidMe, which was the video back end of Reddit when it was still around. Now it's not, so I just moved them over so that YouTube viewers can see them there. You can see a couple different web series that I had. You can see these two, I'm pointing at them because I made a slider of just whenever I come on this show because I love this show so much, and other interviews that I have, or samples of my work because I'm an actor and a writer and a comedian. So all of those are on different sliders, so you can check out.
I'm going to subscribe.
Well, thank you. I will follow back because that's how I do.
Everybody should subscribe to everybody.
Yeah, but Josh, are you going to follow her on Stereo?
If I get Stereo, then yes, I will. Let me go on. You want Instagram? That's the one I'm active on Instagram. Are you there?
I'm there as the Smiley Bridge because apparently someone else took Smiley Bridge before.
How dare they?
The Smiley Bridge. There can be but one.
They're probably just some alt pop band too. We're the Smiley Bridge. That's how their song goes.
You know what? I would listen to them if that was their song. I would be like, that sounds great.
When I went there, I think I see pictures. Oh, you can't from Stereo.
Yes.
So
those are my. Go for it.
I was going to say, sorry that I'm on my phone during the podcast, but this is so I could be following Smiley Bridge just like all of you should be doing. Join me in following Smiley Bridge.
Don't be on your phone during the...
Josh is like the best marketer ever. Like last time he was on our show, he was like, go subscribe and hit like and comment. And
which reminds us, we will include all of Bridget's information that she just went over in the description box below. And by we, I mean Michael probably actually type it in.
Yeah, me.
I'll take the credit for it.
I thank you. Big heart. Big heart.
This is the perfect time to click like on this video if you haven't already.
He's a natural.
Yeah.
And if you have clicked like on this video, don't click like again, because that'll take the like away.
Yeah,
Right.
You might think, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to click like 6 times. No, it cancels it all out.
5 times is okay.
Yeah.
5, yeah. But just once is more than enough. Make sure you're
It's exactly enough.
Yeah.
Or if you've already clicked dislike, you can click that again.
Yeah.
But that would have been by accident. So I can't imagine why someone would have done that.
So what you're trying to say is, if you're clicking the like button, keep it at odd numbers. If you're clicking the dislike button, keep it at even numbers.
Right, exactly.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Thumbs
Right,
up.
it might seem like a small gesture, but it really helps channels like this grow, and it pushes it out into the algorithm. So if you want to see more of these videos and a budget where the biscuits can be shared, please like, share with other friends who you're wondering, should we watch Umbrella Academy? And so many first episodes are reviewed constantly, so hit that bell notification so you will be alerted and not miss when Fallingtower does this again, which they will.
He's the best. Thanks, Josh.
The
He
natural.
is the best. Yeah.
You say.
Speaking of which, very quickly before we get into our final moments, Josh, let's talk about a quick advertisement for your TikTok account.
Yes, if it still exists when this airs. But I have fun on TikTok making 15-second to 16-second videos that are hopefully entertaining. They make you laugh. They inspire you. They make you giggle. They give you hope for humanity. They give you tidbits and behind the scenes of Glee, Wizards of Waverly Place, or Drake and Josh. I'm doing it. I'm really good at commenting back. If you leave comments, I try to interact with all of you. I am also on Instagram, so I'm there. I have a YouTube, but I've been terrible about posting videos. I've been just doing the 60-second contents. But yeah, join me on TikTok.
Yeah, you used to be great on YouTube. What are your account names?
My Instagram and TikTok is Mr. Josh Sussman. And on Twitter, it's Josh Sussman. YouTube is Jolly Joshua, which I hope these guys, they could put a link so it make it easy.
Yeah, well, we're gonna link up all this stuff. Don't even worry about that.
We sure will.
People have link trees. Have you seen the link tree? Where sometimes they'll just have it's a link, and it has all their links all in one. I haven't made one of those yet. Maybe I should. Bridget, I bet you have a link tree.
No. I just have a homepage, which is, again, smileybridge.com that has everything on it. So
okay, that's even better.
I made it easy.
Good job, you guys. I think, there's Regis and Kathy Lee or whatever. It should be like Josh and Bridget, where you're like, you must have something like this, right, Bridget? Nope. What I have is this. Oh, that's great.
Honestly, Josh, you're so upbeat and nice and happy. I'm like, why are we not best friends already? You're such a great person.
Things happen when they were meant to happen, and it was on this date in 2020 that our friendship began.
Yay!
It would be nice. Where were we the last 10 years? But, who knows, for whatever reason in the timeline, what if it led to the apocalypse? Right now, I believe things happen for a reason, so I'm excited about this.
It's Fallingtower, bringing people together.
Yay!
Since 2000, since 1999, technically.
Yeah.
Technically since 1999. And I'm inspired by you guys. Michael, I'm going to follow you back finally.
Nice. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, Michael, I'm going to follow. Yes, I need to follow.
Anyway.
Michael has some great music videos. I don't know if you've been enjoying that content, but I have. I certainly have, Matt.
Very nice. Okay, enough of the love fest. It's time for the terrible time. What do we call the terrible time?
The final deuce.
Okay, it's the final 2 questions, and they're toughies. They're doozies, like the deuce. Here we go. Scale of 1 to 10, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, what would you give this first episode of The Umbrella Academy?
I would give this first episode a 7.6. Because that's 0.1 better than 7.5.
Yeah,
That's
definitely. See, Bridget, he understands that I like numbers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bridget, what would you give this scale of 1 to 10?
I would give it a 10, and then a pop-up of an extra 10 for all the things they added in the background that I've been enjoying.
Wow. She loves this show.
I really enjoyed it. I don't have the little figure guy yet, Josh, but I really love it. I think that was a good purchase.
Money well spent. Josh, scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this? Mike's given a 7.6. Bridget went bold and gave it a 10.
Is it allowed? I don't know if this has been done. If I rate my first time watching and then rewatching it now after having seen it all.
I think that's allowed.
Okay, so my first time, 5.4.
Wow.
Today, 9.
Wow.
What the
Quite a
heck's
jump.
going on anymore?
That's a big jump. Ryan, how big of a jump is that, math guy?
What were the numbers? I already forgot. Oh, 5.4 and 9. That's a 3.6.
Wow.
It's a big jump.
You can see Ryan does love numbers.
Fallingtower.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, now it's your turn to be in the hot seat.
I'm just baffled by how
How
it
hot
could
is
be that
seat?
much better on a second viewing. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10. 6.5. 6.5. If I ever watched a second time, I'll let you know if it jumped or not.
Well, now we're going to find out. Are you going to watch the second?
6.5. Well, let me just say a 6.5 because really the only thing that was just amazing about it was the very end. It makes you go, oh, what? I'm interested now. But for the first 58 minutes, I was like, and I like superhero stuff. But I was very, it was cool. It was fine. It was a little too dark. It was a little too like, aren't you curious now? Don't you want to know what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I wish you would just tell me. Anyway, but for the purposes of this podcast, we had to watch the first episode of Umbrella Academy. Some of us watched it a second time. But now that the podcast is over and you are free to do whatever you want with your lives again, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, would you watch the second?
I would, and I'll tell you exactly why. Is that I'm just dying to know what happens in the future that destroys everything. They really grabbed me with that last little bit, but I liked the whole first 58 minutes because I was intrigued. I was dragged along by the mystery. I'm not like Ryan where I need to be hit over the head with everything. I enjoyed the unraveling, and I'm looking forward to watching it unravel some more.
Bridget, theoretically speaking, would you watch the second episode?
Theoretically speaking, yes. And probably at that point, I would realize things like this is the only episode in the series where there's no umbrella when they say umbrella tree and Umbrella Academy in the title card. I would notice things like, exactly. That one is any sort of umbrella is used over and over. I would be very happy after watching the second to notice that there's an umbrella-shaped lamp in number 7's apartment. Like, there's all sorts of reasons to love this show. The mystery, the intrigue, the way it drops bombs, and then, like, it will explain it later. I think that there's a lot going for this show. So, yeah.
Josh, would you theoretically watch the second episode?
Well, instead of theoretically, I actually, in reality, I will watch it again. I didn't have a great time the first time. I was told that the second season is so much better, and I think and the first season for me really picked up maybe halfway through, and I was like, I don't know. But then like certain things happen, and it's like, okay, now I'm invested, just as you, Ryan, got invested maybe at the very end in the final minute. That things like that would happen for me throughout. And having seen it all and knowing where it goes, I actually am interested in watching it again. And so I am going to watch The Umbrella Academy again. Yes.
All right.
All right.
So now,
I know.
Ryan T. Husk,
Oh, wait, I
for
gotta
the
close my
purposes of this podcast, you were forced by me and Eve England to watch the first episode of The Umbrella Academy. Now, based on your own volition, would you theoretically watch the second?
Based on everything I've heard, based on everything you guys have said, yes, I would. Based on this first episode, no, I would not. What I would do is I would be extremely curious to know, because they gave you that last second little hook that does make me want to watch the second, but probably what I would do is I would like look it up or like ask somebody. I would like ask you guys, I'd be like, so what's the deal? What's the thing? And then if it was interesting, I'd be like, okay, I'll watch the second episode. But if you said, oh, it's just something, and you don't really find out until the middle of the second season, I'd be like, oh, tell me when you get to that part. That sounds terrible. Based on just this episode alone, I probably would not watch the second episode. Although I would be very curious to find out what happened in the second episode. I wouldn't want to sit through, this dreary, to quote George Costanza, thing that insists upon itself.
Oh my God. That was actually Peter Griffin.
Oh, is that what? Okay, same thing. Yeah,
Peter Griffin said that the Godfather insists upon itself.
Yeah, that's what it was. What does that mean? It insists upon. Okay. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to upset
Ryan
you guys.
loves to just bring everybody down. All of our moods just kind of collectively went like this.
Me at the start of this episode. Me at the end of this episode.
I mean, I want to know what happens in the second episode. I just don't know if I want.
Then you have to watch
Nobody
it.
tell him. Don't leave it in the comments. Nobody tell him. Make that man work for himself.
Then
I'll
will
give
end
you
up
a
watching it,
blank
maybe.
flowchart. Mm-hmm.
Blank flowchart.
Yeah, and
Just
everybody
really look at yourself.
delete it from Wikipedia. Make sure that it doesn't show up anywhere online.
Mhm.
Umbrellapedia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's funny. Oh, yeah. That's clever.
Thank you, Josh.
Ryan is a master with words, not just
Yeah.
numbers. His wordplay, it always impresses me.
Thank you. Please continue.
Yes, I look forward to the next time we get lunch together.
Oh, good.
Factory, like we sometimes do.
We meet at the Cheesecake Factory in Sherman Oaks, guys. So anyway, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a great time. My blinds are shining sunlight on me.
And Cheesecake Factory, if you want to sponsor the next episode where Ryan and I eat and have a wonderful time while we discuss Fallingtower.
And I'm left out again.
Yeah, well, we're still going to include the P.O. box, our Fallingtower P.O. box in the description box below, so you could send us a cheesecake.
Yeah, are we going to do that?
Anyway.
A factory-made cheesecake or otherwise, all cheesecakes are welcome.
Thank you.
Especially vegan cheesecakes and none others for me.
How long have you been vegan?
I actually do eat fish, so that's my one thing but otherwise, 3 or 4
fact
years,
check,
yeah.
that's not vegan.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Yeah, I started eating fish again, so sorry, vegans, but besides that, I don't eat any dairy, so that's why I usually say vegan, because people know what that means.
Right. No egg, too. All right. How do we end this thing? Oh, yes, we have talked about this podcast. So, boy, oh boy, this podcast was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it.
This podcast was magic and mystery.
This podcast was, Ah.
This podcast was interesting and fun.
All right.
But seriously, guys, thanks very much for joining us. This has been a great time. It was a lot of fun. We laughed a lot. We made a solid friendship connection. Everything's going to be great. Mike and I are following each other. Josh and Bridget are going to be the next Regis and Ryan and Kelly now, I think is what it is.
Sure.
Anyway, I didn't forget anything, did I, Mike?
No, just we already said it plenty of times to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon. So I guess there's only one thing left to say.
Yeah, make sure to comment below too. Give us lots of comments. What's the last thing left to say? You're the best saying in the world that you say?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite part of the podcast.
Yeah.
As Michael Kenyon Rosenberg likes to say,
don't forget to watch the first of things.
all right, thanks, guys.
What happened? Is he okay?